KORRS is always just such a good time. You get to see everyone at your local crits, people you ride with, and you get to see an extra pool of people that are just across the region you've never raced with before.
Everyone stayed together on it the first lap. We were I wasn't too eventful. And then the second lap, I tried to get away or cause a break there. So we went pretty hard, really hard up it. And then I tried to keep going through the false flat after.
And no one let you go?
No, they didn't let me, but we had a gap. Yeah. But then it was we were all pretty gassed and couldn't keep the momentum going to stay away.
So trying to remember, about 4 years ago, I moved to this area from Lexington, Kentucky, met a local cycling group, started getting back into the sport, started hosting some fun rides, and we hosted the initial Farmhands 40, which was an unsanctioned 40-mile road race, but it also had a community ride. So if people didn't want to race, it was just a fun ride. And then the brewery loved it so much, enjoyed having all the cyclists out here, that we started a race series last year. We did 4 races unsanctioned, and then this year got more interest and decided to bring USA Cycling in for riders that wanted to earn points and get national rank.
Gary's the mastermind of the whole KORRS race series. He puts a lot of work into what he does, and he makes sure that everyone's out there having a fun time. I've been to the last 3 this year because I got into cycling in January, and it's the only road race in the state, let alone the region. So everyone's pretty thankful for him putting it on and putting all the work into it. Coming into this race, I knew we had 52 miles ahead of us, 2 laps, 27 miles each. There's really 3 areas that are going to separate the weaker people from the stronger people. We had the steep climb in the middle and 2 gradual climbs at the beginning and the end of each lap. If you can push through the climbs, you are sticking around with the group till the end. That was my main goal for this race. In the first race, I took a wrong turn and didn't end up at the finish line. Second race, what did I do the second race? Oh, I just cramped up and couldn't finish out the second lap. So this race is one I had to make my redemption. Really put my effort in, and I know I'm coming in with a lot of fitness. I've been doing crits weekly. I've been training as much as I can. Long rides on the weekends. So I have built up to this point where KORRS 3 should be the race that I can actually get something done. I can get across the finish line, but not only get across the finish line, hopefully finish in the top 10, but we will see what we can do. Getting to the start line, the 4-5 race had a field of 30, and another unique aspect of the Kentucky Open Road Racing Series is the ability to go with the shorter course or the longer course, because in addition to the 4-5 race at 52 miles, there's also an option to compete at the 5 novice field. They only do 1 lap of 28 miles. This gives a great opportunity to riders that aren't confident or simply don't want to go out and do a full 52 miles. So coming out of this very short lead-in, we're supposed to be neutralized and not really fighting for position. That was hardly the case though, as the speed picked up right out of the gate. But fortunately, the course doesn't call for much action after moving out onto the main road. We're put right into a downhill, which works pretty well as an equalizer for the group. And there's a super sharp turn at the bottom of this downhill, which doesn't really allow for anyone to make a move or try to make a break. I've been doing a lot of crit racing, action-packed, right off the rip, fighting for position, creating and covering moves. Road racing is a whole different ballgame. While the same principles of energy conservation and sticking with the group apply. It's much more about positioning yourself in the right area of the pack and paying attention to what's going on at the front side of the race. And what does that mean exactly? So if you have been racing or watching my videos at all, I've talked about the accordion effect extensively. It's the same concept that causes traffic on the highways, and it's a real determinant to the type of power that you have to output. You'll be outputting your power in either a consistent manner or in surges. Typically, when thinking about cars on the highway, the result that you pay attention to is the delayed braking, which slows you and everyone else behind you down. You don't really pay attention to the delayed acceleration, but in road racing, it's the acceleration that you really need to be worrying about. That's how the gaps were formed and how unnecessary extra energy is spent to catch back up. And it's something that I've found myself focusing on for the majority of these flat sections. Not only paying attention to the wheel that's right in front of me, but also trying to see what's happening at the very front of the race. Basically keeping an eye out for when the leaders decide to push the pace. That way I'm slowly increasing my output rather than having to get out of the saddle to try to make up a tiny gap that's forming. In this clip, we just peaked the first climb, and the weaker climbers like myself were getting spread out in the back. I'd been playing catch up since the climb and knew that being off the back was only hurting me at this point. I'm not getting any meaningful amount of draft back here, and I'm using up more energy than I should be. I decided to put a little short burst of energy back in just to get myself centered in the peloton, in the back half of the peloton at least. And once I was able to get into the group, it was much easier to maintain speed. I've been on the chase for the past 2.5 minutes and I'm not even near done. I thought that I made it back at this point because the next person was slumping off the back. I thought that maybe he would pull me up to the group, but then we hit a slight gradient and I believe the group increased their speed on that same move. My motivation at this point was that motor official that keeps up with the peloton. I knew if I was in front of him that I'd be considered in the group, and since that was my goal going into this, I wanted to make sure that that was going to happen. So we do some back and forth where he can't decide if he's going to pass me or not, but after a little over 5 minutes on my own trying to catch back up onto the group, I had finally made it. Ken, who I ride with once every week or two, came up to me and was asking me how I was doing, and at that moment I was not doing too hot at all. Just got done working to get back into the group, and I was just hoping that the group would slow down enough for me to lower my heart rate and catch my breath. which was a good thing about this course. Although there were some rollers in between the hills, the majority of it was flat enough to maintain a pack throughout.
Oh, I thought he got pushed to the back, and then he went all the way back to the front. Yeah, it was like a penalty, I think. And then he just shot around everybody.
The moto official for this race was on top of things. The yellow line rule applied to the race because we were on open roads, and it would not be a great look for someone to get smashed by oncoming traffic during an event. But Ken and I were talking about a guy that got penalized for it. He made a pass from about mid-pack and made it all the way to the front, just get flagged. And I wasn't aware of the penalty system before this, but if you get caught, you're pushed all the way to the back of the group. I'm going to jump through some of the highlights until something more engaging happens. I really don't think anyone wants to watch 45 miles of flat roads. That last hill was the end of the first lap, and we crested into what's also the only feed zone on the course, so someone ditched one of their water bottles that could have taken out that guy in front of me. Thankfully, he kept it upright. Yeah, thank God. We roll into the downhill and get ready to do it all again. I don't think anyone's been dropped at this point, but coming out of that downhill turn, people start opening it up and spread the group to a single line to start that lap. The majority of the final lap was about the same as the first one. Everybody was sort of relaxed throughout the whole entire lap, other than the couple hills that we had. I think people pushed even less on the first two hills because they were saving energy for this last climb. The real decider for this race is that last climb. We have about a mile-long gradual climb that gets a little bit higher of a grade at the very end. Then you turn a 180 and go straight up a pretty steep hill into a downhill sprint. So everyone was sort of just waiting for that moment and taking their time, making sure not to expend any energy that they didn't have to.
That's why I'm not drinking my water, because I know I'll do that.
Other than Skid running into me, not too much happened in this lap until the very end. Right now we're on a small kicker that precedes the final climb, and this is when both of my quads started cramping up. Luckily they didn't go all the way, but I talked to a bunch of people after the race, and a lot of them were saying the exact same thing. The heat was picking up, and because we were in the last 3 miles, people were running out of nutrition and the fatigue was really setting in. So people were definitely feeling the repercussions of 52 miles. And I'm gonna let the rest of this play out, and I will meet you guys after the finish line. finally making my way to the top of the hill. That was a long one. I am exhausted. You can see the finish line at the very end. It is so close. So we head down the hill. There's no one around me. I put a quote unquote sprint in, and I am exhausted. So that was the KORRS 3 race. I ended up 10th in category 5 and 18th overall. I had a great time, great experience. Couldn't ask for more out of my performance. I know KORRS 4 is the Kentucky State Championship. That's coming in early August. So I will be there hoping to get a result similar or better to the one I just had. I really wanted to do a short film / documentary type film for this video. I really butchered it with the amount of B-roll that I got. I'm still new to learn how to make videos and all that. I'm gonna try to do probably a similar thing for the next race. Hopefully elevate it a little bit better. But thank you all for sticking around till the end and watching all the way through. If you could drop me a like and subscribe. I am almost at 50 subscribers. I look forward to the next video. I think it'll be another short format crit video. So thanks for sticking around, and I will see you all in the next one.